So, hi everyone, I have a short summary for you guys about patch 2.2.1 that just went live. So there are some undocumented changes and some new findings that we didn't really know about beforehand. In case you have not seen the previous video that I made like a few days ago when they announced the patch notes, we have that stuff here as well. So effectively, there were a bunch of buffs coming to various builds across all the classes. In particular, we expected pure whirlwind to be quite a thing. We expected the VARSHAN Spiritborn to pop up and potentially become the #1 build in the game. And a few other things. There were like some other smaller buffs here that they basically included here, which are kind of like neat little changes, especially Spiritborn got lifted up a bit across most of the builds. And then some little stuff like ice shards, minions, poison trap, double swing, and so on. And a few other like fixes here. So this is kind of what we expected. And now that the patch is live, there's a few other things going on that we didn't know about. So what we have here on the live patch is first of all a few surprises. So with Mother's Blessing is back, we have this 35% XP buff to kills. So keep that in mind when you farm especially Paragons. This is done in the pit. And in the pit, roughly 2/3 of your XP is not from kills. So this is roughly a 10% buff to Paragon farming and a little bit more in other places, I guess, and mostly to leveling. And then a gold from kills is also kind of irrelevant, but it's a small little extra. So that was not announced in any way. We got Mother's Blessing now. Also, we got the Ravens, actually. They came back. They're in every town now. You don't have to go back to the tree. I briefly checked like the Whisper areas. It seems like there's no Ravens there, but at least we got this here. So you can kind of choose the town of, whatever you like, and you can actually turn in there. There's also this little icon that shows up sometimes, which is from the Lunar event from last season. I think this is just a bug that probably shouldn't be there. Or maybe something is coming this season later on or something like that. But if you go there, there's actually nothing. So don't get confused. Besides that, well, I just talk about the Spiritborn and the VARSHAN build. It is not actually the strongest build in the game now. So it turns out they stealth deleted those builds basically. So this also includes the Twisting Blades video that I made the other day. So Rogue had a really strong build there as well. I was doing like 105+ with this. On the Spiritborn, we expected something like 115, 120. But this is just not happening anymore. They added like a cooldown now to the Flash Reaper power that was kind of the carry here basically. And these builds just do not work anymore. So this doesn't come entirely unexpected, even though they were technically not bugged or they were working as intended effectively. They did lag out the game in some cases pretty significantly, and this is also why I said from the start that this is likely to get updated at some point, and now they've done that. So VARSHAN builds are just gone. Everything that's based on the VARSHAN power is gone. So this includes all the classes. Yeah, then we also have the Spectral Ash turn-in. That's actually kind of an interesting one. So you go to Tarsarak, and if you have gathered a lot of Spectral Ash from farming the bosses and the season wrap and all that kind of stuff, you can now turn that in for scrolls. So you need to have probably the entire quest line complete. I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't work when you just do the first quest, but at least my level 60 characters can just go here to the vendor once they have done everything. You can buy a scroll for 250 Ash, and this one gives you 6k rep. So this means it's 6 scrolls for a full infinite cash turn-in, which is 72k rep. Or it's around 15k Ash or 59 scrolls to go from 0 to Spark. So you can make a level 1 character, do the first quest, and then we have to mule 59 scrolls over to a level 1 character. And then you can actually turn in the Resplendent Spark. So if you have a bunch of Ash left over and you really want Sparks, this is a pretty fast way to get it. It will take you roughly 10 minutes as long as you have Ash. Now getting that Ash will obviously take a while. I had like 200k left over from the entire season after leveling all the powers to 20. So it does come in kind of slow, but a lot of people have found a lot of bosses, and now you can just get a bunch of free sparks if you want. In my case, I don't really care. I'm just gonna like do infinite turn-ins, that's it. But it is a kind of nice way to finish out your mythic grind, or at least speed it up a little bit if you're still working on those. Yeah, Crown of Lucion is not in fact back, so double swing in Despair mode, and yeah, maybe some other builds that run it. So this is still disabled. Yeah, Pure Whirlwind, as I said, we expected some huge buff, in fact the biggest buff in the entire patch. It turns out that seems to be barely an improvement. There might be some buggy stuff going on, but at the very least, it's not really a thing. It's kind of playable in like T4 as far as I know, but that's pretty much it. So Whirlwind will remain an Earthquake build for the most part. And I also did try Human Druid a little bit, at least with Tornado. I was cooking a little bit and it felt really awful. So I don't think that this is really something that will make it into the meta under any circumstances. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe some other people are cooking some more stuff. And lastly, what is not changed, which I also didn't expect to be changed, but I was hopeful. Kapaleke currently has a bug with Quill Volley, so this is actually the main reason why Quill Volley is not in S tier currently, but it's pretty close. And the cast twice bug from Season 6 is back for Kapaleke. It does not work with Quill right now. So this is actually the next best build after the VARSHAN Spiritborn, for example. So we had that build for a few days and now it's gone. And now it's basically back to Quill as like the top build on Spiritborn. And it's kind of scratching S tier, but not quite. If the bug was fixed, then this will be fine. But yeah, cast-wise currently does not work on this item, unfortunately. So we also had someone check Andariel plus Annealing Hits. I was a bit hopeful here because they fixed Annealing Hits for a bunch of the boss powers, but that is also not working. So that could have been another contender for a top tier build, but well, we are still waiting. And also the Infernal Horde UI bugs remain in the game so far, but apparently they're supposed to be fixed next time around. Yeah, so this is basically a short summary of all of the undocumented findings and changes and whatever else we found out so far. There might be some more, but for now, this is kind of like the up-to-date info that we got here. So that's it. I'm going to keep you guys posted with more stuff if anything comes up. Hope you enjoyed this little summary and see you guys next time.